Hey everyone, I'm Ann. Welcome to the Let's Get Naked podcast, where we dive deep into vulnerability. In this space, we'll explore what triggers us, uncover the patterns holding us back, and discover how to take charge of our own growth. If you're ready to dig in, be vulnerable, and face the tough stuff, then buckle up. It's time to get naked. You know who my favorite people are? The ones who have been through the absolute worst storms and still show up with scars that tell stories. The ones who didn't just survive the lightning, they harnessed it, bottled it, and now they're walking around radiating electricity. Those are my people. Because when you cut through all the noise, energy doesn't lie. You can't fake it. You can't filter it. You can't slap a smiley face on rotten vibes. If your energy stinks like dog shit, guess what? You're gonna attract it. More dog shit, more flies, more misery. But when you clean that up, when you get intentional, when you start putting out light, joy, gratitude, love, your whole world shifts. You attract better people, better opportunities, better storms that you're equipped to ride out. My guest today, she's one of those electric, magnetic humans that makes you feel alive just standing next to her. The kind of person who's been through hell, but didn't let it poison her vibe. Instead, she turned pain into power, scars into superpowers, and now she's a walking lighthouse for anyone lucky enough to catch her glow. So before we even dive into this conversation, let me leave you with this. Stop wondering why you're stuck wallowing in the same old shit. Check your energy. That's your mirror. You attract what you put out. Clean it up, raise it up, and watch your whole damn life level up. Today, I'm stripping it all off with LinZee Belle. LinZee is an embodiment coach, and I'm going to let her describe what that is as we get into it. But welcome to the show, LinZee. I'm so honored to have you.
Oh my gosh, what an opening.
I know, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the part where you said you don't get like burnt down by the lightning, you bottle it and you use it as your electricity. That hit home for me.
You do. It's wild to me because when I connect with people, LinZee and I, for the listeners at home, LinZee and I connected recently, and I could just feel her energy in the room when we met. And so when you harness that, when you bottle that, and then as I've gotten to know your story a little bit, understanding that those people that have been through the hardest storms are my people. Yeah. The people with the biggest scars, those are my people, because you've sharpened your tools on the shit that life dealt you, I look back at all of the messed up things that have happened to me in my life with gratitude, because I wouldn't be half of the woman that I am if I didn't have all of those things as tools to really learn in this university of life that we're in. And so when I see other people with energy like that, I just fucking know. I'm like, oh my God, she's got so many great scars. I can't wait to figure out what they are. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
for sure.
You guys are my people.
Yeah. It's almost like your nervous system it remembers, I was listening to a podcast this morning too, and they were talking about how anybody who's been through the work, anybody who has done something amazing and impeccable with their life and they're in integrity, or they're doing more than you and you just can feel their soul, they will never make you feel less than.
Yes.
They will never make you feel like you can't. They will never say no. They will never tell you, you probably shouldn't do that. They will inspire you. They will give you guidance. And you can just feel when somebody has carried the depth of life experience where you no shame. You have gone to the bottom of the barrel and you had nothing but yourself to rely on. And I really believe like that is what it takes. And then you really find your people from that place. You find your guidance and your mentors and your community, and you rise together to meet the occasion of living a good fucking life.
Yeah, it's incredible. And that's such a great way to describe that, because I feel like those of us that are on our journeys of just really healing our shit and trying to live our best lives and really being plugged into that and not being in this hamster wheel of mediocrity, which I think most people are. Those of us that are doing that, it feels like it's a ladder, and because there are those that come come across your path that give you a hand, to give you guidance and show you things, right? And so you have people that are on the rungs above you and people below you, and it's not a better than or worse than.
No.
It's just it's a being able to share and help other people level up. And there is never any competition or jealousy or insecurity. It's like we all have crowns. And so to be able to like really embody that and live a life from that place, it's huge. One of the things I think that always strikes me is women that say that they are for women empowerment and then cut each other down with middle school gossip level bullshit, and that just doesn't live in the space that we're in. We don't, it doesn't come from that place. You're not talking about what so-and-so did or whatever. It's like, Queen, tell me how to help you. Tell me what support looks like for you right now. Because that's what we're meant to do, is to be in community and be in human connection and really help one another. Especially when they're down, not kicking people when they're down.
It's the permission slip, it's like, again, the people that are really doing this will give you the permission slip. They will not tear you down, And it's interesting because now when I do feel that, I'm either one or the other. I'm curious if you feel the same way. I'm one of those people where people either really love the work that I'm doing, they're really intrigued by my energy, or they're like, what is that? It's like, there's like no in between, and that's okay. It's just something that I've noticed. But when I have run into people like that, the people that I maybe have envied, or, I'm like, fuck, like I really want what they have. It's actually been some of the best lessons for me, because what I realize is jealousy or envy is not anything bad. It's actually just poking on the light that you already have that you're noticing in someone else, because you have that same power. You have that same burn. That's why you can see it. That's why you can feel it. And for me, I know sometimes I like to learn the hard way. So sometimes it takes me to losing or being put, kind of backed up in a corner for me to get like, I'm actually in this mastermind or with this group of people because I'm looking for the permission slip, but I'm not looking for it for them. I'm actually looking for the point where I turn and look at myself and go, you can do this. And so I get myself in the room with people like that, because at the end of the day, I'm getting myself to the point where I might be afraid to do something or, take on a project or something like that. And maybe I'm scared to do it. But then I realize when I'm around these people and I'm in the room, you become that energy. You become that vortex, and you become the through line. And in my experience, the people that I have been envious of or jealous, right? It's actually just a mirror of what is in me. What am I going to create? And so when I finally start to create that, I literally did it the other day. I sat down to record a masterclass, my first time doing a masterclass. So I had those feelings come up of like, who are you to do a master class? Exactly. Or what are people going to learn from you? And then, it's just the ego that's so used to what's familiar and doesn't want to take that leap. But then I did it. I started it and I did it. I was like, I'm just going to do this for funsies. Just to
take the pressure off.
Yeah. And then watch myself and give myself feedback of like, okay, maybe I said too many ums. Maybe I did this, and just be really gentle. And I watched it back and I was like,
yes, queen. I love that so much.
Waiting to sit my ass down and press record and realize I'm proud of the woman sitting in front of me talking to me in this camera.
I love you so much. Like the words that are coming out of your mouth right now are everything, because I think so many people are scared to not do those things. Yeah. And as I'm on this surrender experiment for the last year and a half, and I keep doing these things where it's like, who's going to tell me I can't? Not who says I can do this? Like who's going to stop me? And then just doing all of the things where it's like just leveling up. But you do see things about yourself that spark and trigger from other people. And if your mind's not open to really like catch those and realize, why is that sparking something in me? And come from a positive place instead of like a negative thing, because I can only imagine you're similar to me in that you bring out big reactions in people because you're a big personality. And so they either ride hard for you or they're like, who the fuck is this bitch? Because it sparks something in them. And I always say, if I've triggered something in you, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I used to not feel that way. I very much, I'll just kind of like give you guys a little bit of an experience of what I went through. But I had a lot of abuse growing up, and you and I talked about that.
Yes.
We met at lunch, and you know, for the longest time when I started my healing journey, I took on the love and light approach, which there's nothing wrong with, right? But I very much was like, how do I forgive everyone and everything, and love and light, and everything's love, 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 love. And I needed that because really I was looking for my own love. And then I realized through the shame of the abuse that I endured, my addiction experience with alcohol, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, truly, grief in family. What I learned from all of this is like the love and light is actually very much bypassing. And until I could get my feet on the fucking ground, what love really is for me is number one, acceptance to your life, acceptance to the things that have happened, what I choose to look at it as it happened for me, not to me.
Yes.
And the missing piece was letting myself feel the anger of what was not right, because my love and light approach was not the way.
Right.
And sometimes that bypassy spiritual way of doing things is more harmful than it is to reclaim who you are by allowing yourself to be angry, feeling the anger, processing it. Because really the anger allowed for me to see a new level of compassion for myself. And in return, that compassion for myself was able to create the forgiveness that I was looking for, because the forgiveness was more for me.
Yes.
Right? But until I really felt the anger that I needed to feel, which was the hardest one for me, nothing really shifted. And I realized love is not about bypassing and letting things slide and just putting it under the rug for later. It's, no, this is my no. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I have no problem speaking that truth, you know? And I think as a woman, being able and being willing to be misunderstood is one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself, because you realize like we're not here for everyone.
Right.
And that's okay. I think that's what really life is about. But as you grow and expand, you're going to find your people who get it and who vouch for you and who stand by you and who are with you along the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving yourself, I literally felt it when you said this, giving yourself permission to be misunderstood is such a powerful thing. And I live that as well, but
Yes,
just the
you
way
do.
but the way that you said it was just like, yes, you know, and I wish more people would do that, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just noise, you know? So when you're listening to all that, as I've gone on my journey, I'm at this place where with the podcast and the social media and all that shit, like I don't pay attention to the comments. I have other people that do the things, because I maintain that that's all just noise. And I love people listening, and I want you guys to all engage and whatever, but I can't be up here doing what I'm doing if I have that shit noodling around in my head and feel like I have to justify words that I said or what my opinions are or like what my stuff is. Mine is just a unique perspective. That's all I'm doing. I'm showcasing my unique perspective with all of the different ingredients that go into making up Anne, and the person that's sitting across the couch from me, and what their unique perspective is as well, so that other people can either relate with that, let it trigger things in them so that they can get curious about the stuff in their own lives. But I'm misunderstood all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and so and not feeling like I have to go around and fix all of those crumbs that are being left behind. It's like, no, you know, the people that are at my table of life fucking get me, and they ride hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny to me. I said something to my husband the other day, because doing this podcast, and then like he opens his feed on stuff and there's my face and like all of these things. And I'm like, I'm going to get to be where I already know I'm a lot. I'm not going to say too much, but I said to him, I said, am I too much for you? And he said, darling, you can't be too much for somebody that can't get enough of you. And I just thought, you fucking king. I absolutely love you. I mean, that's who he is. You
Let's
know,
go, king.
I know, right? It's just like, that's the kind of shit that I need, you know, on my pit crew to really help support me in doing the work that I'm doing right now, you know?
I love that you shared that. It's so funny, because I literally just did a 7-day too much challenge.
What is that?
On
Oh my
Instagram.
God, tell me what that means.
I think as women, right, especially with what you just said, we do. I know for a long time, like I walked around and thought I was too much, right? I dance, I sing, I'm expressive, I'm loud sometimes. I laugh with my mouth open. I love food. I eat far too much than I probably should in my mouth, and like there's just these things. I talk with my hands, but these are things that I used to not allow. Like, again, going back to kind of like the spiritual bypassing thing, when I was on my healing journey, I kind of thought I just had to like be a monk and be really reserved and like hold it together and be really still. And it's like, where's the life in that, And it all served a purpose. There's no shame in that. But I had to find what works for LinZee, right? And so the too much challenge was really to grow my community, to try to expand and do something that I feel like is missing for women, which is the things that are quirky and different are what make you so unique and so palpable for the right people. Like they want to taste your palate. You know, you go into an ice cream shop and you got vanilla, and some people really like vanilla. And then you have Rocky Road and mint chocolate chip, and you just go in and you're just like, wow, these are all so amazing. And again, back to the idea of like this also doesn't mean that we have to divide ourselves. Like, you're yellow and I'm purple. And like, I want to learn a bit about yellow.
I know, right?
And like, you want to learn a little bit about my purple.
Yeah.
And we can have a discussion and opposing thoughts and ideas. But the too much challenge was really about like, what are your colors? What makes you unique? And so the idea is when I wanted to practice being more visible online and working on being seen, because that was really hard for me. I thought, because I grew up dancing, I was like, I'm just going to dance and share a positive message that I needed today. And I'm just going to show up and share it with the world. And I did it every day, starting in like 2021. And it really helped me grow being willing to be visible and to share. And I started with the thing that brought me the most happiness, which was dance. And I had brought my son on it with me, and we're eating breakfast and cereal. I'm making pancakes, and he's got his underwear on with his blanket, and we're just like dancing and having fun. So in this experiment, it was for women. And like, what is your too much? You're too sad. You're too sexy. You're too loud. You're too emotional. Like, we hear it all. Men too. But this was really for women to just own it, like, and be in community and do it together. So it was so cool. It literally brought tears to my eyes, because watching these women take a risk, number one, for themselves, and to do something they've never done before and complete it, and what they felt and what the outcome was from that is like, play is the precursor to everything. And it really is a beautiful avenue to leading you to your greatest gift, which I believe shame is really kind of the source of your power. And when you can use play around shame and your shadow, it creates this opening of your unique signature in the world. That's kind of the idea.
I think we all need more of that. And I've kind of been doing some deep diving into, where did that go wrong? Where did we go away? And I started thinking about, like, as for me, childhood memories are coming up, and remembering back to, when I moved from South Dakota to Colorado right before 4th grade, and what did that feel like? Because we were like feral children in South Dakota, my siblings and I. And then you go to Colorado and it's like, everyone's supposed to fit into this box. And I still remember feeling like needing to wear the right thing, and needing to like have the right hairdo, and needing to whatever, and just really having that be so incredibly important to me to fit in. And that fitting in actually like rounds your edges off in the worst possible way, because we're not all meant to be the same. Who said that was the thing? But that's what I felt like. And so I've been doing some real big deep diving, because when I'm able to show my edges, when I feel like this is who I am unapologetically, it gives permission to other people to be able to also share theirs, because we're not all supposed to be vanilla. And if you love vanilla and vanilla's your jam, fucking girl, do vanilla. But but like, we're not all vanilla. Whatever flavor you are, be that. Like, do all of the things, because not only is it what the world needs. I truly believe that. I believe when you lean into who you are as your individuality and what lights your soul and all of that, that's what the world needs. But it also gives other people permission to do the same for themselves. And that, to me, is as powerful as it gets.
Oh, you are a walking testimony of that.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I was just telling Reese before we started, my motto right now is I am going to live so free that I make you feel the weight of your own chains. Because I can't fucking scream loud enough to people to do the healing work and to do all the stuff. I can't shake you. I can't do any of those things.
Yeah.
But if you look at me and you go, God, how does she have so much energy? How does she have so much, all of the things? I've done the work to get all the fucking muck off of me.
Yep.
And with no shame, right?
Yeah.
Because I literally lived in shame for a long time before I quit drinking, right? So I understand what that looks like. And I also understand that's not a thing. Get the fuck off me. I'm not living my life. It's not real.
It's not real.
I know. When you realize like a lot of the things that we put on ourselves that's not real.
Yeah.
That's not, and it is a thing, right? I'm not saying like it's not real, like it's not something that you have to contend with. But when you realize like, oh, I can just set that down.
Yeah.
Like the things that happen to me do not, yes, they make, lead up to making me who I am, but they don't define me today.
Yeah.
I don't have to carry those invisible weights around with me. And when you realize you could just fucking set them down, it's like, that's it. I set shit down quickly now, after you do the work and you're able to like really move through when something triggers you and you're like, okay, I have all my tools. How am I going to, and you just quickly wrap a bow around it, move it on and release it and off you go. And the more I do that, the more I just have the energy and the freedom and all of the things that just make me who I am. And I can just be whatever light I want to be.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like what you're speaking to is capacity.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And for me, what I can speak to is like, as I continue on my journey, exactly everything that you're talking about, right? Taking off the invisible shackles, because it really is invisible. And here's the thing, what I learned with a psychotherapist when I was healing from addiction and alcohol too, what he gave me was a really safe place to just be seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was being witnessed by him, and I'll never forget. I went in like the third or fourth time and I had relapsed again. You know what that feels like, right?
Yeah.
And like, for example, if you made a promise to yourself and you keep not keeping it, that sucks. You feel ashamed because you want to do it. Like nobody wants to go around drinking a fucking bottle of wine every day trying to hurt people, right? So when I walked into his office and I sat down, I mean, the first thing he said again was, I'm happy you're here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, you're not going to put me in a corner and be mad at me for drinking, even though I'm a mom and I have a child and this is not right. Mm-hmm. Like, and he's like, no, you're here. Mm-hmm. Like what matters is you're here right now. Right. And this is how we change the story is you keep showing up and you keep doing the thing over and over again. Right. And then my mind started to get so fascinated with all of this. And I had already been in school and learning about quantum physics and my body and why trauma stores in the body and how to access it and how to use it as your greatest resource of that lightning that you're speaking to. And quantum physics says, like, right, once an atom becomes witnessed, then it's true. But it doesn't really know until it's being witnessed that it's real. So for example, an atom and a particle, thoughts create things. That it's just energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be, what's the word that he says? Transmuted or something like that. Alchemized, Albert Einstein. And this is so true. So when we observe an atom and then it's a particle and then it becomes dense and then it becomes matter, like thoughts create things. But the same is true for the past. So my past can only be true when I'm talking about it right now, observing the atom of the past. And so what I started to realize is if I can use my body and my somatic practices, I can change the story of my past in real time by observing the atom and changing the story. And my psychotherapist always said, what we can do with the body is in the process of an old trigger, we give it a new outcome. So we literally observe the expression in real time. And as we're observing the atom and the heart and the whole somatic body begins to respond, express, and do what it needed to do to complete the experience, and then you regulate your body, your heart, your body, your mind all come back into regulation. And now you have space to create a new story. And I look back at that time that I was an addict. I can't even remember being an addict anymore.
I know. Isn't that wild?
I can't even remember the pain of it.
It's wild. I could not agree with you more.
Does that make sense what I was saying? Did I explain that?
You did beautifully. And I don't know that, I think there's a lot of listeners that will maybe not get that because they're not on that, they're not there yet, but I will co-sign what you're saying 1,000% because it just reframes things for you. When you realize that the only thing that you have right now is the present. Yeah. And if you're letting all of that stuff because of the way that you have painted it or the way that you are remembering it and letting it run on a fucking rerun loop in your mind, you're doing that to yourself, and knowing that there's an option, knowing that there's a different way to be able to process that.
Yes.
I know that you're a huge fan of breathworks as well, or breath work. I've been saying breathworks plural for a long time. I think
breath
it's like,
works, girl.
I know it does work. And thank you for saying that because I bet there's people that are cringing that are listening going, God damn it, it's fucking breath work. I get it. I totally understand it. I'm still going to say breathworks.
It's so good.
But it is, but it releases all of that stuff, So I have a group of women that I'm cultivating that come and we do breath work together at my house. And so it's like, am I the popular girl? Like, hey, you want to come over and heal your trauma with me? I got snacks.
Yes.
But it's just, that's where I am in life. I don't want to get together and complain about the same stupid shit that we've been all complaining about for fucking years. Like,
yeah, and just like reliving.
Yeah, it's like, no, what are we going to do about it, right? What are we going to do about it so that we can live right now today and live your best life today? Yeah. And so all of the things that you're talking about, it is that. I don't look back and think poorly on any of that. That stuff happened for me, not to me. And I have absolutely reframed it that way. I highly recommend getting on a journey of healing your shit and fixing your shit because it's so much better on this side. And that doesn't mean you're not going to still have fucked up stuff that happens to you. It still does, but you know how to handle it. You know how to deal with it. It isn't just continuing to pile it on this horrible fucking pile of dog shit that, you carry around with you every day.
That's really it. Yeah. I mean, and it goes back to when you do the work, excuse me, I got a cough.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I know you love to hear that. I had a little thing last week, but we're on the other side. It kind of brings me to, like, I've been really sitting with this idea lately of like, what is the gap, And so earlier I had mentioned this kind of spiritual bypassy thing. Mm-hmm. And then, I lived a good chunk of my life just feeling really stuck, right? And making peace with certain beliefs that I had. And then also, like, there's not just one tool. So, for example, I went to school, I started with yoga. I thought I was going to be a traveling yogi and do all these retreats. Like, I thought that was my whole life. But before that, I was in the entertainment business. So I was a singer, I was a dancer, thanking God every day I got to travel the world and do what I loved. And then I got pregnant. And so I thought that my dream was this life. And then I got pregnant and realized, oh my God, my son is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It was completely unexpected, kind of a shock. And then giving birth to him led me to my healing work. I went to Tony Robbins and I drank the fucking Kool-Aid and jumping around. And I was like in an abusive relationship. And that gave me the permission to go home high on air of life and be like, no, I choose something different. And from there, I went to school for yoga. And then I became obsessed because I had this thought of like, okay, if I just figure out what's wrong with me, then I'll be okay. And then I realized, oh my God, nothing's wrong with you. This is actually all divinely planned by yourself, by the way. And as I went further into it, I was like, okay, nothing's wrong with me. Now I'm understanding what happens in the brain. I had CPTSD, so I studied that. And I was looking at brain scans and I was looking how trauma affects your brain. And then I realized, oh my God, I had peace to realize that all this anxiety that I felt, I just always felt like I was in trouble, but it was the after effect because of abuse that I had faced. Mm-hmm. And then I got more curious. Well, how do I heal my brain? Okay, well, now I'm going to do breath work because if I get blood flow and I open the cells and I get blood flow happening in my brain, then this happens. And then I was like, okay, now we meditate. Okay, now we do somatic experiencing. And then I was like, well, what if I play more and start dancing again? Right? And so everything started leading me to another tool and another modality. And so there's not like one size fits all.
Right.
But as you go on your journey, your brain starts to open up. And this is what we're talking about, capacity. Now it's not like stress goes away. You just understand and have capacity to hold stressful things. I love stress now,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like right now I'm scaling my business. That is fucking hard, right? However, the stress that I'm feeling now is building more capacity for later. So I used to have this thought, it's like going to the gym and expecting results, right? Right away. Like I worked my ass off. I'm sore. I better see results tomorrow. But it really is funny when people say like the gift is in the journey, but it couldn't be further from the truth, because that is when you're in the gym, you're putting in the reps. And what I'm going to remember, you know, I got to dance for Rihanna at the Super Bowl very later in life. And that was a lifelong dream from being a little girl. And it happened when I gave up on needing it to happen. And then it just happened. And what that experience gave me was I was primed and I was ready for that moment. I was really able to take it in because of all of the journey before that got me to that point to really receive it, because I actually had capacity. So the point in all of this is like, experiment, try things, follow your yes, because there is no right way and there's no wrong way. And also the circumstances that we go through and that I've gone through have been the parts of my journey where I grow the most. I learn about myself the most, and I am damn proud of the woman that I am today.
Yes.
Because of it, because I have capacity to keep moving forward now instead of stay stuck.
Energy is everything, and most of us are spending it like drunk gamblers at a Vegas blackjack table. My book is built around one simple but powerful tool: quantifying your energy so you know exactly where it's going and how to get more of it back. Think of it as a manual for your soul's fuel tank. If you're tired of running on empty, this book will show you how to fill back up and keep yourself in the game long enough to actually win. Get your copy of the Life Hack Playbook on Amazon or on the podcast website, letsgetnakedpodcast.com. Yeah, and when the big things come, when you have these things that are really hard, it is just sharpening your tools.
Yeah.
It is bigger weights in the gym, and that's how you improve your muscles or make them bigger, is by lifting bigger weights, you know? And so if the little stuff that used to be hard it's not even a thing anymore, right? You're not even on that same frequency. And so it doesn't even have to be a thing, but as things get bigger, challenges get bigger, life gets harder, you're able to handle it. And I come from this place of gratitude. You know, I have this thing where my husband is behind on the journey, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean he's later to the dance than I am as far as starting to do his own work. But he looks at me like I'm a lunatic, because when I have all of this hard shit that's happening, I will tell him, I'm so grateful for these things. I'm so grateful. You know, when the universe hits me with fucked up things of whatever, I'm like, thank you for the opportunity. And I run at those things with a ferocity of just, let me at it, right? Let me show these amazing tools that I have, that I've sharpened on all of the fucked up things that happened to me that have, led me to here or happened for me, right? Because I believe that same thing. Life is a beautiful dance. It's all about how you decide to engage with it. It's not happening to you. Yeah. You know, and when you can really harness that and do something with it, fuck, man, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, when I look at you, and I look at your eyes and I look in your eyes, I can truly feel the love that you have for your life. And I feel the pain, not because the pain is present,
Right,
but because we're mirrors for each other, right? And we've gone to the bottom of the bottle many times, and we know that. And it also has made tasting fresh orange juice, so much sweeter.
agreed.
And when I look at you, I feel your soul. And like, I know for certain there's no way I'd be able to feel so much light unless you've really gone through the depths of the karma of the soul, whatever it is that you want to call it, but we find each other and it's such a special feeling, because you're right. I had lunch a couple of weeks ago and I remember sitting there and I was like, no, this isn't it. Like something feels really off and I'm not sure what it is, but I trust myself.
Yeah.
I trust what my body's giving me and telling me. And there was a point where I got up and I excused myself, and I'm so proud of myself for doing that because in the past I would have abandoned myself in those situations thinking I needed to sit there and keep it together and like, you know, whatever it is. And nothing bad happened.
Right.
My body was picking up on something. And that's also what my suffering gave me is razor sharp intuitive hits.
Yes.
And when you haven't healed those wounds, you might feel like life is out to get you. And that's different from your intuition. When you've done the work and you connect with your true intuition, you have this laser sharp focus that is giving you direction, and you have your own innate wisdom that only you have because of the things that you've gone through. And everyone has access to their wisdom,
Yes,
right? And in that journey and coming from those things, that's where the wisdom turns into gold. It turns into dripping wet.
It's so
ecstatic,
good.
lightning gold, and you just get to share it with everyone.
It's so good. And I yes to all of the things that you just said. I couldn't agree with you more. You know, you mentioned something earlier about coming from this playful energy. And that's something for me that over the last couple of years I've really leaned into as well. You know, I'm connecting to what I call my 8-year-old girl, right? Like, you know, being able to like go back and come from this place of like awe and wonder and what would she want, you know?
We love her.
I know. Oh my God, she's so amazing. You know, before life put all of this shit on top of us. And what we don't realize is getting to this place that you and I are at with this just lovely lightning and amazing and all of the things. It isn't about adding more. It's about taking away. It's about connecting to your nectar, connecting to your knowing, you know, because then you do know. And when you were talking about excusing yourself from a lunch and really understanding, once you go through this work, once you've seen the bottom, once you've started, you know, get all of this off, you will not allow yourself to abandon your body again. When it tells you stuff, you do it. Because I had a very similar thing that happened recently where I was like, the good girl that was raised to be a good girl should sit here and still fucking do this.
Take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm getting full body goosebumps just even saying this. The Anne that knows who Anne is and will not abandon her body ever again is the one that says, you know, I'm going to excuse myself. And it's nothing on anybody else. It has nothing to do with anybody else, but I'm going to honor me every fucking time because I am lightning fucking tuned into my gut and my knowing. And it does. It just, it steers you instead of not even really like being in tune with it anymore. And so for me, that's all I ever encourage people to do. Just get curious. Go all in on you. Follow the crumbs of whatever your journey looks like for healing anything that you have. You know, I've talked to people who feel like, well, I don't have that big a trauma and whatever. And it's like, trauma's trauma. Everybody's is different. There's no comparison between what you went through or what I went through or what he went through. We're not meant to do that, right? But any of those things that are trauma or that do need to be released, you're going to be so much better on the other side of that.
Yeah.
You know, I look at, as a young girl, all of the different ways that I betrayed my body, all of the different ways that my mind made me stay in things that my body was screaming to get out of. I was talking to someone recently about we have to teach our young girls that if somebody is doing something to their body that is not okay, they need to use their voices. Because in my generation and in our generations, no one ever taught us that. I didn't have a mom that told me that or aunties that told me that. And so I didn't have a voice. So when things were happening to me and people were like, why didn't you just stop it? It was like, you literally freeze in that moment and you don't have a voice, right? And so that's where you start to abandon your body in that situation because you don't know anything different. And so in that conversation that I was having, I was telling them, we need to focus more on educating our young girls at very young ages that it doesn't matter who that person is. If it feels wrong to your body, you speak up and you speak up at full volume. You use no at full volume because you can't unring that bell. And yes, we all are going to have trauma no matter what that looks like. And being able to encourage our young people to start healing that before you get to a 40-year-old drunk, you know, who is melting down her entire fucking life because she doesn't know how to handle her emotions.
Yeah.
You know, so now I'm on this mission of how do I help educate young people? How do I educate other people that there's a different way to do this so that people understand what their gut is, what their emotions are, using that like a compass instead of conforming to and just being that good girl that's quiet, that doesn't take up space, that isn't too much. It's like, fuck, be too much. Everybody be too much. There's not this space where it's like, if I take up too much, I'm taking away from somebody else. Like, no, you're going to find the right level of your people, and it's going to be amazing because you bring something to me that fits in perfectly with what I need, and vice versa. And like all of the things where you find your people, it doesn't matter. There's no too much. Be all the things. Fuck. Live out loud. Live in color. Live exactly how your body wants you to live, you know? And so to be able to watch you do that and watch you help other women and other people have permission to do the same thing in their lives, it's powerful. And it's hard, you know, it's hard because you still second guess yourself. You're still like, what the fuck am I doing? Who am I to be up here saying, like, if you're talking about the masterclass, who am I to have other people listen? Exactly. I thought the same thing when I was doing the podcast. I'm like, who am I to be giving advice? I barely graduated fucking high school. I don't have a degree in whatever the fuck, you know, and love the people that have degrees and stuff. Excellent. But I just think, you know, my story is relatable because it's not, I'm not coming from this place with a lab coat on and telling you whatever. It's like, no, I've touched all the burners.
That's really it.
Yeah, I've touched all the burners. And I don't come from a place of fucking judgment. I come from a place of, let's support one another because life is hard no matter which way you're cracking at it. Let's support each other while we figure out who the fuck we are and get all of that muck of the trauma and the sabotaging yourself and everything off.
Yeah.
Tell me about what an embodiment coach is, because I don't want to have our time run out and then have you not tell me about what it is that you do, because I fucking love it so much.
There was so much juice in what you said. I'm just like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love how you articulate things. It's just it's so rich for me. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So embodiment, right? Like embodiment is going from something that you're just thinking about to training your body to know it, right? And there's a very big difference between, you know, thinking of something or trying to be something and knowing it. Like knowing something is done has a very different frequency to it.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to embodiment, I had to start from scratch. Because, you know, truly I hated myself. I had so much shame and different things. So I had to start from the foundation. And I'm talking like, what does it feel like to feel your sits bones on this couch? Just making contact. Like to that degree.
Yeah.
To get out of my head and out of a trauma response to what does that feel like? The sensation of my sits bones connecting with the couch. And that's embodiment, right? Feeling my body connected to something. And so often when I'm taking clients through something, that's really where we start. We start with the foundation. And what I started to find was starting with the foundation and also learning about the female nervous system. It kind of blew my mind because as women, we need to titrate, right? We're multidimensional. Mm-hmm. We have babies. We can have 4 kids running around while simultaneously cooking pancakes, running the dishwasher, doing laundry, and then having a thought to call my grandma. Like we're designed to do that, where men are very logical and like we need each other. But to answer your question, an embodiment facilitator and embodiment coaches, I teach what embodiment is from the root, from the foundation. So it's like, we're not going to just jump into somatic breath work and go for a cathartic release, releasing all the trauma. I used to do that. But what I found is it's less about releasing, it's less about fixing, and it's more about you already are the source of your greatest power. It lives within you. It hasn't gone anywhere. You were born with it. And nobody came up to you when you were born going, yep, you're not worthy. Yep, we're just going to just go back. Like, we're just not going to have you. You're not worthy, right? Like, it's ridiculous to think about that. You're welcomed. And unfortunately, there are some souls that have a different experience upon birth as well. But coming into this life and working with the somatic body and understanding your emotions and how to embody your emotions, because we can talk logically all day. Like, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel depressed, I feel happy. But if it's not channeling in the way that I'm expressing to you, it's not embodied. I'm just talking. So embodiment is I teach people like, okay, well, what does anger feel like in your body? What does joy feel like in your body? What does it feel like to know that it happened for you? Like, feel that in your body. Like, oh my God, it happened for me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And what does that feel like to train your body to get into that experience? So I really guide people using many different modalities that have helped me. So I do sound bowl therapy, spinal attunement, energy work, very similar to Reiki. I'm a life coach. I do dance therapy, somatic experiencing, somatic breath work. And Peter Levine is a really one teacher that I really learned from that coined these awarenesses. David Berceli, TRE, trauma release exercise, making contact with your psoas muscle and allowing for it to discharge what no longer serves you. And then, at the same time, the things that we express and we release out, we also have to put something back in. And that's really the gap. And so we have to start with play. And so when we play and we also go, okay, what am I looking at that feels really good for my eyes to see? I really love looking at that mirror. I love looking at your eyes. I love the smell. I love the space in this room. I love how bright this light is, right? These are all somatic experiencing that really just bring you back into the moment, back into the now, that ultimately creates space to where you're not like, what do I do next in my life? But this is where your dreams start to come into fruition, because now you have capacity to be with them, to visualize them, to feel them. And that's where we start creating our dream reality, is this kind of embodiment experience of let's start at the root, start at the foundation, clear, use your energy, remember you're the source of your power. And now we create from this place, we invite in play, joy, connection, community. And really healing for me is just support and connection. That's it. You have support and connection. And when you have support and you are witnessed and you have safe connection, relationships are everything. We get hurt in them and we heal in them. And that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That connection is everything. I think that that's something that in the society where we are, where everyone is so divided and so disconnected, that people are realizing how important that is. It's literally a lifeline to be able to have an actual human connection with someone else. It feels so powerful to me. Doing the things where you're saying, you making space and having capacity as you're releasing the trauma and you're working through the things, and then what you're calling back in, it's exactly what you're talking about. And you have all of this space to do whatever you want, to create with the universe, whatever life it is that you want to live. Like, I co-sign on that so hard, right? For people that know me and understand what my journey is like. I was telling my husband, I'm like, I feel like I've reincarnated in the same life, because because this version of Anne is very different than the last version of Anne. And the last version of Anne was a good time, right? She was a lot of fun, and I still am. But being able to say, I'm not going to carry around all of that trauma and all of that gunk and all of that bullshit. And then what am I going to put in there? Because the stuff that I put in there is the awe and the wonder and the play and the, what do I want my life to look like? It's understanding what the calling on my life is and being able to steer into things, because I'm so in tune with my gut that when the big guy or the universe or creator or whatever you call your higher power tells me to go, I don't even fucking question it. I just go.
You just
go.
I
just do. And it's like, and I don't have to know what the outcome needs to be. I don't have any preferences as far as that's concerned. It's like, a year ago, you're doing a podcast. I'm like, okay, fuck, I guess I'm doing a podcast, In December, it was like, okay, you're writing a book. Now I'm releasing a book in a couple weeks. Like, it's absolutely wild. I know, it's absolutely.
We just celebrate that for a minute.
Which is so awesome. But it also, like, when you say that's always been inside of you, I believe that, because I didn't write a book. I channeled a book, right? It was, I'm just a conduit. I laid down in front of the fireplace and the chapters just in 5 minutes came out of what I'm supposed to be writing about. And then being able to, like, go back and put my shit on there. I have all of these analogies all the time that just make things approachable and make things so that you can actually like visualize them instead of it being all of this like wild woo-woo, you know? So I call my book like the gateway drug, right? My book is like the gateway drug of like, hey, you want a better life? You don't have to read all of these like crazy personal improvement projects. Just read this one, you know? Just read like this one that's going to open your eyes just a little bit so that you realize that the energy that you put out there is what you get back. You know,
so true.
and that just these small tweaks where it's like, if you're not happy with your life, know that, yes, you can't control your life in the same, and like people think they have control freaks and whatever. You can't control that, but you can control your choices of how you're going to engage with things and being able to like really tweak them in that way. I've never felt more vulnerable or naked in my entire life than handing out the pre-copies of my book as I'm getting ready to like do marketing and shit like that, because it's like,
it's your baby.
It's my baby. But when the universe and the big guys say, this is what you're doing, okay, this is what I'm doing. Because I've done all of the work that has led me to right here. And I believe that the work that I continue to do is impactful for other people and that it makes a difference. And it's the reason why I put the energy and the time and the resources into being able to like put this out here, because this is how I give back. One of the ways that I give back, and being able to really lean into that instead of just running the same mediocre day in a hamster wheel, which is what my old life was. And it was still a great life, right? I was still a great person. I still had, all of the things, but it's like, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
You look at the one before and the one now, and it's like, I'll take this one all day. I mean, it's 10x easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's so powerful to be able to ride the wave of what your soul is really meant to do. And it's like there's different iterations of it, right? Like everything you're saying, to also simultaneously watching my life unfold that way, from being in the entertainment industry, thinking music and dance, and it all just moved into my purpose of what I'm really meant to do. And I love to grow. Tony Robbins says it best. If you are not growing, you are dying.
True.
And I could not agree more. And life is so rich because I'm willing to take risks, Yeah. And I wasn't always. And because you're willing to take risks and you're willing to not be violent to yourself when you fuck up, man, right? Like that's so important to talk about. And it's something that I used to do a lot, is just be so hard on myself. And I still am, right? I think it's an everyday journey of learning how to talk to yourself and be kind to yourself. Because man, the purpose of somatic work or breath work and things that we're talking about, yoga, all of these things, is, I had a teacher explain it this way. It's going from reacting to life, right? Based on past experiences, to being responsible. And what that means is being able to respond, right? Responsible is being able to respond. And when you have sovereignty and capacity in your body, because you've met yourself and you've worked with those things, you're just responding to life. And then what's coming next for you, you begin to be pulled to it. It's not a forced thing where you're like out attacking life trying to find your purpose.
Yeah.
You will be pulled to it. And that is why this work is so important, is because it's less about going out and hustling and butchering life, to making peace with where you are and letting it come to you. And you're going to know when to take aligned action. And so if you're at any point in your life where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, maybe you just lost your job, you just got in a breakup and you're feeling lost and confused, this is the moment. This is the moment where everything in your life starts to make sense, because it doesn't right now. And as you start to untangle it, and there's that tiny little ember in your heart of possibility, follow it, because it really is your greatest source of inspiration. You are your greatest source of liberation, and there's no one out there that is doing something better than you. You have everything that you need within your own heart, mind, and soul, and you will make it. You absolutely will make it. All it takes sometimes is being willing to blow on that tiny little ember, and maybe doing something that you've never done before that just might stretch your mind into like, maybe I can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just starting small.
Yeah.
Starting small, because you're exactly where you need to be.
Changing that mindset, I think, is so powerful. And I think for those of us that are out here swinging for the fences and being willing to fail big, right? Like I stumble all the time. I just make it part of my dance.
Yeah.
You know, and like showing that and giving other people permission to be able to do that, I think is really huge, but it is, right? Understanding that ember, when something does spark, if you're listening and you say, you have something, whatever that is, blow on that ember. You're absolutely right, because it's like, don't think like, oh my God, what bad could happen? Change your perspective and say, oh my God, what amazing things could come out of this? Because the more that I've leaned into what I feel like I'm being pulled to, right? I co-sign everything that you just said about, you know, when you do that, it's literally just magnetizing to you what is supposed to come to you. You don't have to be out there searching. You just work on yourself. Go all in on you. Blow that ember, you know, do the thing that scares you, do the thing that, and what's the worst that's going to happen, right? The worst that's going to happen is you don't do anything.
Yeah.
So just
or
so
you
everyone
learn
knows,
from
you're
it.
already doing the worst thing that could happen if you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, yes, I'm going to learn from that. That's just part of life. We're not meant to do this mediocre day on repeat. You know, if you're listening and you feel like the whole last year has been the same exact day, you know, I want to tell you a story real quick. So I have some friends that my husband and I hung out with 20 years ago, and went to a birthday party, you know, recently for somebody that turned 50. And we're sitting there and we're on the back patio. Everyone's still smoking and drinking, which I don't do either anymore. And so that's, again, totally fine. But they're all talking about the same shit that we talked about 20 years ago. And I'm thinking, no, thank you. Like, stop it. You know, like, you've already lived that day. What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Let's do something that's different, something that has meaning, something that like lights your soul on fire. If your soul isn't completely lit on fire right now, do something different, right? Find that ember, blow on that, whatever. It's going to look like different for everybody. But that's what I think as the collective, we all need more of.
Yeah.
If we had more people like you and I that were following what really lights them up, imagine what an amazing world this would be.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's connection, that's support, that's unity.
Yeah.
That's not dividing or pointing out our differences. You and I, I'm sure, you know, differ on all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But let's figure out what we connect on. Let's figure out how we can support one another, because our differences are meant to be celebrated, not, you know, something to fear or something to turn into hate or, you know, all of that. It's like, no, let's all get back to the 8-year-old versions of ourselves that are coming from this amazing place of awe and wonder in this fucking Disneyland that we live in.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like sitting with their faces in their phones and fucking plugged into social media, which, by the way, newsflash, is not fucking real life. Yeah. Social media is not real life.
Yeah.
Like, it's a tool that fucking people use and whatever, but there are so many people that are so sucked in by that if something happens, they're like, can you see what's happening in the world? I'm like, no, I'm outside. Everything looks great here. Like, come out here. Let's fucking play out here, you know?
So that's like the witnessing the atom, right? Like, what atom are you choosing to focus on, and how is it making you feel? And then how is it dictating your actions after that?
You're the painter. You're holding the fucking paintbrush.
Yeah.
When you realize that, when you realize how powerful that is, you get to paint it however you want.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, it's like glitter and unicorns and rainbows and all sorts of shit. And people look from the outside and are like, what in the fuck is going on with this girl? But I'm telling you, I've lived both sides. I'm living my best fucking life. Every day is the best day of my life. I'm plugged into right now. My husband just laughs because he's like, how many days in a row is it now? I'm like, oh, I've lost count. Still best day of my life. Doesn't mean bad shit doesn't happen, right? Bad shit happens all the time. Yesterday, I got my fucking teeth kicked in. Still best day of my life.
Yep.
You know?
I love
because
that
I was
so
like,
much.
oh, thank you to the big guy, to the universe for giving me the tools to be able to navigate this hard shit that is at my front door right now. Thank you. Not like, oh my God, why did this happen to me? It's like, thank you for this happening for me. So that I can continue to be this badass woman that I am, right? Because it just keeps leveling me up.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to be, you know, I want to be able to be that hand for other people.
Right.
And I want to be able to like still find my guidance with other people that are giving a hand to me. You know, so when you really embrace that and you really come from that place and support one another and are willing to be vulnerable in connection and vulnerable enough to say, I'm struggling now, or this is the shit that, you know, happened and this is what my journey has looked like. Like, we're meant to do that with each other. Totally. I was telling Reese, you know, for the listeners, I was telling Reese when we came in this morning, he's the producer. I was telling him that when LinZee and I sat down to lunch a couple weeks ago, it's like, you sit down and literally like the worst shit that ever happened to you is out within 10 minutes because you're just talking about like all of the things. And And that's such a beautiful thing because there's no shame in any of that. It's like, this is part of my story. And it doesn't have to be anything other than just a testament to how far I've made it, to how sharp my tools are. Here's my receipts. Here's my receipts of the life that I've lived and that I'm here to be able to be plugged in and to help other people on their journey as well. So what a beautiful thing, right?
Amen.
I know.
I always say, like, I'm able to help women that have experienced, lots of shame, rape, abuse, narcissistic relationships, family dynamics. Like, I wouldn't be able to help people through that unless I went through it.
Yeah.
Right. And like, unless I've gone through it, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. I have no opinion on it. And I stand by that. Like, unless you've gone through something, you don't get to judge.
I agree with that.
I just think it's really foul how some people, it's pretty toxic in this world where you can look at addicts and people that are going through this, and a lot of people just look at it like, oh, geez, something's like so wrong with them, but we're missing the root cause of why this happened in the first place. And I even told my mom this, like, there's a whole story. I wrote a book, and my family, a lot of my family was really upset with me about it. And I just told my mom, I said, listen, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all are looking to be heard. We're all looking to be felt. We're all looking to be understood. And if we could do a little bit of research together to try to understand each other, life would be really different. And I could realize, hey, Reese is blue, I'm pink, you're green. And they're all different, but they all matter. And we won't have a fucking rainbow without all those colors. Right? So like, it's just, it's like a fascinating approach to see the world. And the last part I'll say to this is, that's what I mean by your shame and your pain is the greatest source of your power. And it's like, a lot of people say that, but truly for me, I'm so grateful because I can sit in front of a woman who's going through something so remarkably challenging, and I know what to do because I've been there. Right? And so I just love that we can find peace in this if we choose to, and also being willing to walk away from the people who don't want to be a part of the rainbow. They just want to be blue by themselves.
Well said, LinZee. Well said. Everyone, that's what we're going to leave it on. We need all of the colors to be part of the rainbow. And I fucking love that so much. So thank you so much for coming and spending time with me. That is our time for today. If you have questions, suggestions, or think you have a story you want to add, please send us an email, ladies@letsgetnakedpodcast.com. And LinZee's information will be on our website if you want to be able to connect with her. Please do all the things to support the pod. Follow, share, rate, and review. We will catch you next time. That's a wrap.
Love you lots. Thank you. Go be fun.